Hey guys, Winter for Life here, bringing us a brand new Chaoticast. This time around, we got Kha'rall Chronicler. I kind of butchered that, but oh well. Um, uh,
It's alright.
so yeah, go ahead and tell us about yourself, dude.
Hey everyone, so it's Chronicler, and I'm a collector of Chaotic and a few other teams as well.
hmm And you got quite an impressive collection. Do you want to tell us about that?
I probably can't say everything, but yeah, I've been collecting. I wasn't actually, um, like I got into Chaotic when it had actually already left the shelves and the lawsuit had already happened, but I did watch the show um, when it did first come out. But I started collecting probably in the year after. I'd say at least a year after because I missed like the super cheap time, when like there was like interests on eBay for like $4 and all that. But yeah, so I started collecting then and just buying lots and lots of product. Um, and yeah, so it's sort of amassed into the collection it is
hmm
at the
Yeah,
moment.
unfortunately, I missed that time too. I mean, then again, when it died, I was like a 14-year-old kid with no money, so
Mm.
there was no way I was going to be able to take advantage of all the cheap prices. Like, I didn't
Mm.
even know you could buy cards online. That was how stupid of a kid I was, but I digress.
I
uh,
regret not getting into the stock to shop because stock to shop had bloody alliances for
mhm.
like 47 cents a pack,
Oh my god!
back in the day.
Yeah, I was just checking on eBay too because I am honestly kind of tempted to start buying up some Turn of the Tide packs for some openings, and
Mm.
uh, I really want an FLR, some other
Turn of the
stuff.
Tide was, yeah, anyone that knows me knows that Turn of the Tide's my absolute favorite set. I bought probably close to 5,000 packs of Turn of Tide over the years. I used to buy them in
hmm
300 to 330 bulk lots from stock to shop. That's about how much could fit in a USPS box.
Jesus.
And I bought them out originally, and I think they found because I think all their packs came from tins.
hmm
They didn't have boxes. None of their packs came from sealed boxes
hmm
because I pulled no Moodinus. So in all those, well, I bought about from them. I probably bought about probably 2,000 to 2,500 packs. It would have been the majority was from them. And then there was a guy on eBay, probably like I'd say like early last year. He was still on there. He was a real ass, but he used to have. He used to sell them in 144 lots,
hmm
and I used to buy 288 lots from him, and then send them to Stephen Norvell, my mate,
hmm
and then he used to either sell them for me or repackage and then just ship them on to me. But now they're like everything's gone, and I refuse to. I think there's actually there's still some packs on Stop to Shop, but they're a lot more expensive. They're the price that Forge Unity was.
hmm
Actually, they're twice the price that Forge Unity was
hmm
a couple of years ago. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the guy that I'm looking at on eBay, he sells 12 packs for $70.
12.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was somebody else on eBay selling five for like 49.99, and uh
That's too much.
yeah.
See, anything like that, I haven't actually tried it, but I anything like when it's not like I was all right with the 288 loose, but anything when it's like 5, 13, 15, I'm worried about them weighing the
hmm
packs and to get just like keeping the ultras on because I'm presume the ultras packs would weigh more. Um,
From
I
what
would be worried about that for the price.
hmm From what I remember reading, Chaotic was really hard to weigh because the rares being foil too kind of screws it up. But you
Mm.
can never be 100% sure, especially with it being about a decade out. I'm sure somebody's found a way.
Yeah, like if they got like a super sensitive scale or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything like that, I just even like with dual masters when I buy dual master packs because like for Eva Crushnators of Doom, I saw what was it, a couple of weeks ago they had it's actually the same seller. It was the same seller who was selling them in 24
hmm
bulk lots, and I was still thinking, I don't know, it's too small a number for me to like. I'd hate to get that and then not pull the right amount of foils, you
Yeah.
know, for the amount of that you're spending, and then I get taxed on top because Australia.
hmm
So Yeah, unless I send it to Stevie. I usually send all my shit to Stevie because pretty much anything I buy off eBay goes straight to Stevie because I have to pay 10% tax on top if it's under $1,000, I have to pay 10% tax on top if it gets shipped to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have his, I just send everything to him. I have his address in my eBay, and everything goes to him. It's usually, and you guys usually have a lot of American sellers have, free domestic postage,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to pay on top, which is good.
Yep. Alrighty, so oh sorry.
Yeah, no.
Oh, what?
What did you want to talk about first? I was going to go into
I don't know.
favorite tribe, which is a bit redundant. I think we've both got the same favorite tribe.
Well, so I don't know if you ever saw it, but I did do a like top 5 favorite, or I was gonna call it top 5, but like that'd be kind of redundant because there is only 5 tribe. Well, technically 6 or 7 if you want to count the tribe list, but I did do a video talking about like how I list the tribes personally, but Mepedians were my favorite starting. I remember when I first started, I looked at the 4 tribes and I'm like, I'm gonna go with the lizards because dragons. And that was like how I correlated it. And of course nowadays, I grew to like really fall in love with them underworlders and everything as I started playing, especially after I pulled a Chaoticast as a kid. Like that was once I pulled that Chaoticast, I was playing underworld almost all the time.
That was actually my first ultra I pulled from a tin.
Oh, nice.
Back in the day. Yeah, I pulled the Chaos the Fierce. I didn't know anything about it back then, but yeah, because I was obsessed early on with buying Fire and Stone tins because I was convinced. Because to me, it makes sense if you've got commons, you've got rares, and then you've got supers from Fire and Stone, the preview pack. You must have the ultra in there somewhere. But no, they decided not to include, even though Mudinu was on the flippin' tin, like he's literally on the tin. This is one thing they're going to have to get straight when they come back because there's so much misleading info.
Oh my god, dude! I bought so much of Alliances Unraveled thinking that freaking KO or Max or their retrains were in Alliances Unraveled. No, they're in the set prior.
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember, but there used to be 288 packs on eBay years ago, probably like 2013. I bought 2 of them. There was 288 packs for $288, free postage. Yeah, and I was convinced because I really wanted Chromax and Ursus, and this was before Stop to Shop put up, the singles, and I opened all 288 packs, and I did not pull one flippin' past card, and I thought, what the hell? Like, they must be like extremely rare. So I bought another 288, and there's still nothing. And then Stevie's like, "Oh, they're in the decks." And I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Dude,
so
I did a series called The Search for Ursus on my main channel for a while, and I'm thinking about starting it back up again for the hell of it. But the first 2 of them I bought Alliances Unraveled packs because I'm like, oh, they're in Alliances Unraveled. Here we go. And then on the second one, somebody commented, oh, they're in the decks instead, and I'm like, oh, now you tell me.
There's so much stuff like that. Like even the promos, like look at Mudinu. Thinking that it doesn't matter as long as you buy Turn of Tide, you'll have a 1 in,
200 something chance or something like that. But...
288, and it's only from the booster boxes.
Yeah,
which are actually extremely hard to find. You can mostly find the blisters, and then he's not. I swear he's not even. He's definitely not in the tin packs either.
Yeah. And I did the hunt for him too. I bought I think I bought 200 packs of the set that he was supposed to be in as a promo, and I pulled 2 freaking Yakus instead. I hate Yakus.
Oh, that was the bane of my because he's in there because he's the 1 in 144 promo.
Yeah.
But Mudino isn't. Like even from Stop to Shop when I bought the first. When I originally bought out Stop to Shop, it was around 2,000 to 2,500 packs. I pulled 1 Ifla, Max Energy, and all those packs. That's really bad. Oh. That's really bad for there amount of packs. There should be. I should have had 10.
Yeah.
Because I had a crap ton of interest and Lord Van Blue, but 1 I pulled of him. And Stevie was like, Just next time, next time you're definitely going to get, next time you're definitely going to get Medina. And I was like, yeah, it must, surely,
Yeah,
but
dude.
it's just that badly advertised.
Yeah, I mean, even though I didn't get Medinu in that thing, somebody did eventually trade me one. I don't remember what for, but even though I didn't pull him out of that, I did pull like two of Flora, one of which I sold to you actually. And
Yeah, I tend to suck up high flies.
yeah, and I think I pulled one Interest Nature Force, which I still have, and I think I pulled one Lord Von Blute, which I sold off, and I hate myself for doing that too because I want to find him as well.
Yeah, he's pretty sought after.
Yep. At least it's not as expensive as Iflar. Like, oh my god.
It's currently on eBay for $1,500.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I like Turn of Tide so much, because it's got such a, in my opinion, I think it's one of the best bang for your buck sets, because you get good commons, good rares. Supers are supers are a little bit on the downside, but and really good ultras too. Whereas I don't really like. Everyone seems to love Forged. Whereas I like the ultras are awesome, but I hate everything else.
I am so sick of Forged Unity. I will be 100% honest. I have copious amounts of Forged Unity and Alliances Unraveled commons, and I am sick of seeing them. I don't want to see any more. I have way too many. I don't want to see any more ever.
I just didn't like the artwork. Didn't gel for me for most of the creatures in Forged Unity. I just didn't mix well. I didn't really like it, and I don't like a lot of the cards in it, apart from like the ultras, which are usually the most popular thing. That's usually why people go up to Forge, is just at the hope of getting KO or Max or Korra.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only reason I've bought in so much of Forged Unity. Now, I have my KO to Fierce, I have my Max Sword Protector of Param, I have my Korra. I am never touching Forged Unity again.
Yeah.
Never.
And it was expensive, because back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean 4 years ago, when it was still relatively cheap to buy from shop to shop, and I was still buying from them. Forged was more expensive than all the other packs. Alliances was the most expensive, then there was Forge was the next, and then everything else was like 99 cents. So it really wasn't never really worthwhile for me to get Forged, but I thought, one Christmas I bought 300 and something packs for Christmas, and I was like, this set's shit. When I was opening up, I was like, I really don't like these cards, But yeah, so it's Turn of the Tide all the way for me.
Yeah, my personal favorite set, it's a oh yeah, and also I never did answer my favorite tribe. My favorite tribe is the Morellians.
Really?
Yeah, once they came out, I remember when they came out and they first showed them off, I was so captivated by them. I remember seeing the Raft Tab and a Benabaku in the Ultra Rares, and I was like,
a whole new tribe. It was too tempting.
Yeah, it was so new. It was so cool. I wanted one so bad. They were hard to get because the only non-super or ultra Marillions in the first set that they debuted in was this Torkin. He was an uncommon or a rare. I can't remember which. And he's honestly one of the better chieftains too.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, elemental proof times 10 for all elements. What the hell? But and I tried so hard getting them. I actually own all of the Marillions out of the first set now, and I really, really just absolutely loved them. And I remember doing a whole bunch of research on them. We trying to figure out what the heck these things are, and seeing them in the TV show was really cool. And it was seeing like the Marillions is part of the reason why I love Lovecraft so much. Lovecraft is one of my favorite authors. I don't like the guy himself, but his writing is just excellent, and the lore. And so, Marillions have a lot of sentimentality to me, which even if they are like, I saw some people joking on the Discord the other day that they are one of the worst tribes out there. Even if they are horrible, I love them to death.
Yeah, I love the Kha'ralls personally, if you can't tell from my name. I love just because they, pretty similar, to the war beasts. I guess you can say they're sort of like their petty sort of things, or their bodyguards,
Yeah.
and I really liked the way I thought they were, because I think without them they would be a little bit stale.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they need something buff. They needed to be defended because all the fluid morphers, it's just going to get picked off. There's no.
Yeah, the fluid morphers, morphers, the fluid morphers and the chieftains are. Yeah, the fluid morphers and the chieftains are so squishy that they needed something to be able to protect them with it, which is pretty good overall. I like it.
In saying that, though, I do love Cerulean, though. It was always my favorite fluid morpher,
mm-hmm.
the Ultra from Rise. I love him.
Holy crap! Talking about the Marillions reminded me that I really need to pick up another Barakaton, and there's somebody from Canada selling him for $230 on eBay, and that is stupid. I regret selling mine so bad. I don't know. I just want him. He's a cool.
Do people just pick a random number? Like it's not. It's not a really sought after card or expensive card. So.
No. I guess it's because he's an ultra and he's a pretty decent.
Yeah, but there's lots of ultras. Like Warriors of Awake's an ultra. That's like $10. There's lots of not very good cards that weren't really worthy of an ultra, placement. But speaking of Barakutan, I'm just going through the Ultimate Guidebook now. I saw the other day. Have you seen the new artwork for Barakutan?
Not in a while. I remember vaguely what it looks like.
From the Ultimate Guide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't looked through the Ultimate Guide in a while.
I'll try and send a photo now. It's flippin' insane. I didn't even recognize it when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome. But see, this is the good thing too, because some people were wondering, because in the show that the Marillions had been, driven back to the doors of the deep mine, if they would play a role in the future sets, and they definitely are going to be in Fire and Stone.
Oh, yeah.
And for sure, because if you look at half the artwork, they're in half the artwork. Like Iflar's kicking, in the unreleased artwork of Iflar and all that, he's kicking a whole bunch of fluid morphers. You've got Rymusa, chopping a hand off, Kha'rall and all that.
Yeah, and then there's one of the promo cards for Fire and Stone was I think it was a Kha'rall. I forgot his name. He's the guy who's like, I'm gonna fight
Jino Ash. Yeah. Jino Ash, yeah. It's like one of my favorite Kha'ralls. I completely forgot, yeah.
I don't think I actually have him. Now that I think about it, which, God.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the artwork from the book.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found the original Barakutan a bit hard to
You can't. Yeah, you definitely can't
understand. A good look at him.
Yeah, I like his new design quite a bit. He looks pretty cool. He looks more like a knight than a smith, but I mean, he is a smith.
Yeah, much easier to, because it's a bit hard to in the original artwork to see like what's armor, where's the head, what's an arm.
Yeah, there was one card that I just could never perceive what the heck I'm looking at. And then I finally realized that, oh, okay. And I can't remember what card it was now.
It's probably, I bet you it's that Underworlder from Turn of Tide. I forget his name. I have a 5 max set of him.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I look at the artwork, I'm thinking, like, where's his head? Mm-hmm. I can't understand if he's got one arm, Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it was, and because the foiling was so dark too in the background, you just can't make it out.
Mm-hmm. There was actually a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Deep Sea Diva, that always really messed with me. She has like an antenna going around like her head, and it always from a distance, I swear it looks like that her head is where the antenna like circles up, but like no, when you look close, the head is like 2 feet down, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's getting more support soon, isn't she? I just saw a whole bunch of...
Yeah, she's getting a whole archetype, apparently, which is kind of interesting, to say the least.
Very random.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to answer that, my favourite tribe's the Mepedians.
Yep.
And then probably Danians the next, just with the way they're going with Azil and all that looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What cards are you most looking forward to in the coming, like from the on the art repository and the artwork you've seen? It's the stuff you're most to.
Dragons. Dragons.
Back to Mepedians.
I'm
How's that
not gonna
loyalty to
lie.
the Marillion?
I'm not gonna lie. Unless there's some really freaking cool Marillions in Fire and Stone. Fire and Stone's probably gonna sway me back to Mepedians big time because between Thebsar, Mudinu, Iflar, the dragons, god dang the dragons.
Well, look, you've got Malvadine, who.
Oh yeah, Malvadine.
Malvadine's going to be probably one of the most expensive cards, I reckon, in Fire and Stone, just because it's introducing Defender to Mepedians, which is they've never had before, and like they desperately need, So, at least that's really broken.
Yeah, at least they're gonna have Defender generic. The only Mepedian I can think of off the top of my head that has Defender, other than Malvadine King's Herald, is Grafat Ra, one of the Mepedian War Beasts.
Oh yeah.
He can only defend Royals and
Ponjos. Is it? I thought it was.
No,
it is Royals, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not even like the important one for the Mepedian deck with the War Beast style. It's freaking Royals.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, and I get that like the idea was to be able to mix them in with strike decks to protect your weaker strikers during the opponent's turn, but like. You got to dedicate. I mean, granted, Graphic Raw has like a 10 recklessness damage, so you only have to have one conjurer, and at least that conjurer can also double.
Still, that's an extra. That's an extra card taken up.
Yeah, yeah, and then like honestly, whenever I've tinkered around with it, I've always had Graphic Raw, one of the better like conjurers that I don't have to rely on having music counter.
Probably.
Yeah, see, that was actually what I was about to say, because I was when I was messing around with it, I wanted a conjurer who I didn't have to worry about having to have music counters on him, because my worry was that if I have to use a music counter, because I was going to make him double as my Muge for the deck, I would like to be able to actually use those without having to worry about my Graphic Rock killing himself now. And there was one guy who I think he's like a Conjurer Royal or something. Let me see if I can find
him. Yeah.
Yeah, Baikolin. And if I remember right, he does... Okay, so yeah, Graphic Rod, 10 Recklessness, and then Baikolin. I think I got him in my binder here.
From Silent Sands. He's a rare.
I think it was Baikolin. Yeah, Baikolin. 2 music counters, so pretty good. Reduce Recklessness damage by 10. Cool. And then... So yeah, Baikolin was like the other guy that I was going with because he is a Royal Conjurer, so Graphic Rock can protect him, can protect my other dudes, and also just be able to, not kill himself.
That's the other thing too. I love the Royal theme through the Mepedians. Anything to do with the Royals, the Mepedians, I love. But so you've got Malvadine, you've got Thebsar, obviously, which everyone's just drooling over. He's in Storm and Seas, though.
Oh, really?
And yeah, Storm and Seas for him, which he's apparently is going to have like a really amazing ability. I really hope it's targeting towards strike, strike decks. And then 50. Also with him...
Just one shot of Maxor from Dawn of Peril.
Banhammer, instantly. And then with him, you've got the dragons. So he'll, because he's coming back from exile in Storm and Seas, and so he's bringing with him all the dragons. And then the book also says that the riders of the dragons are winged Mepedians, which is going back to the, how I was telling you before that, the Mepedians descend from dragons, so the ancient Mepedians had wings, so that's kind of cool. That's something, and that's why, again with the storms, when you see the statues in the storms, they have the Mepedians with the wings. Yeah. So that's awesome. And then I'm also looking forward to Azul and Tassinil too, just because those two have been leaked.
Yeah, too. And it had to that must have been like freaking forever ago because, in terms of like the past, freaking what is it called, the past Mepedians, because if you look at the one past Mepedian that we did get, Azara, she's not winged, and neither are any of the other ones. Now, granted, we don't know how long ago that is, because
Mm.
it was at least back when the desert was still a forest before all the water drained down into the Danian. Uh, what is it called? Crap! What is it? What is where all the water is in the Danian hive? I can't remember.
Everin?
No, not Everrain. The big space at the bottom of the Danian hive where all the water is kept. I can't remember. Oh, reservoir.
Reservoir?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know if you noticed, but like in the lore, the water from the that was because uh, the Mepedian Desert used to have a big ocean kind of thing. All that water
Mm-hmm.
drained down into the underworld for some reason, and into the Danian hive, and that's where all the water is in the reservoir now. And so the
Mm-hmm.
Mepedians kind of hate the Danians for that. It's always.
Yeah, that was explored in that episode with
Mm-hmm.
Adra and all that, how they were siphoning all, stealing all the water
Yeah.
and all that. But one thing I really, speaking of past Mepedians, one thing that I really want, just because Kensep was so heavily,
Mm-hmm.
themed in alliances, one thing I really want is for Kensep to be made the actual Mepedian,
Mm-hmm.
ancient Mepedian king. I would love that as like a past creature. I think that would be awesome. And I'm just so interested to see how they do with that because we got about at least like 6 to 7 Kensep related cards. We got Chariot, the Sun Chariot of Kensep.
Mm-hmm.
There was, the Tablet Dig Site, the Star Constellation one.
Yeah.
There's the Ankh of Kensep, and then we've got the actual city, which is being unearthed,
Yeah.
as a location. So I really hope that they keep going into that. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Because that's like where the lore is at currently,
Yeah. And
with Thebsar's coming back with the dragons, and they've just unearthed Kensep.
yeah, and with the with Kensep, his chariot gives fire, not wind like you would think with Mepedians. So
Mm.
between the
Well,
dragons and
he's
everything,
definitely he's definitely going to have air and fire because
yeah,
even if you look at the guide, let me find it. Hang on, it
because
does say.
if you look at like the last two sets before the game died, they were starting to release more and more Mepedians with fire, and I think they were doing that to build up for the dragons, so that
Mm,
you could have more options with them having fire attribute. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if like Kensep and Thebsar both have fire and air. Uh,
it might actually be linked to his ability because in the Ultimate Guidebook it says special abilities. Thebsar has unprecedented control of his attacks through the powers of the elements fire and air. So it
huh.
might be linked to his ability.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a bit awkward because then you had like through Marillion Invasion you had so many Mepedians that were air and
Yeah,
so.
Aaron Earth was like the
Oh,
Mepedian thing for a long while. Uh,
mm,
yeah, and then you had I mean, it gets also like annoying with like the overworld, because the overworld, a lot of them have fire and earth, but then you also have a lot of like water and
yeah, and water and
yeah.
and fire. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, water and earth. Sorry. Yeah. Um, and yeah, and the other thing I'm looking forward to is the location
Mm-hmm.
Mipidum Royal Palace that was hinted to in the book as well. We don't know what it looks like, but it's hinted in the book as like Thebsar's favorite
Mm-hmm.
place, which I think would look awesome.
Yeah, and something else that I'm like personally really interested in is the Marillion Civil War and everything, with Ayn,
Mm-hmm.
because with Ayn being imprisoned, uh, you got to look at it because from what all my research that I've done points to how the Marillions are an oligarchy ruled by few, and but however, Ayn basically turned it into a dictatorship by using because like the brainwashing abilities is not natural to Marillions. It was Ain's power, and he had the ability to give it to his minions.
Mm-hmm.
So with his imprisonment and thus locking that off, now the Marillions are leaderless, and the dictatorship is gone, and so you got some who want to continue what Ian wanted to do, and then you got some who want to go back to the
Yeah,
old
the
ways.
Isaiah, the Isaiah chamber.
Yeah,
And like,
and
because there's the ones that are still loyal to Orny, and then there's those that are trying to pretty much become the next dictator. They want
yeah,
to
and
take the role.
I don't know which side the Isaiah is. They don't really give any information on that just yet, uh, and we don't even know the name of the other side either. Uh,
I'm pretty sure the Isaiah one, that is the people that were wanting to take over from the oligarchy. They wanted to take over from
mhm.
uh, Orny. They're not the ones that are loyal
That wouldn't
to Orny.
surprise me. I also
Because
heard,
you remember in Alliances, they had some creatures that were like Isaiah Spy that were fluid morphers, but they were there's one that's called Isaiah Spy. I
yeah,
was thinking, like, what? Like, why are they spying on themselves? Like, I don't know. I
mhm.
thought they were all like together, but they're not. There's like split down the middle.
Yeah,
There's ones that are loyalists, and then there's ones that wanted, to take the dictatorship. Pretty much.
yeah. And then I remember somebody saying that like I can't remember who it was, but I was talking to somebody about it, and they were like, "Oh, I thought the Isaiah was like the KGB of the Marillions," and that could be totally that they were, but then on top of that, that they were also they're a facet trying to take over. So it'll be
Mm,
interesting seeing where they go with that storyline if they decide to continue the
mm.
story.
I just this on the lore. This is one of the biggest grabs for me for the
Hmm.
TCG is just how complex and deep the lore runs. Like even like how they talk about Cerulean, how he was exiled,
Yeah,
but they brought him back during the Marillion invasion to help because they needed his ridiculously, overpowered ability to help in the
yeah.
war.
Apparently, Cerulean was was like he was just so he was even too much for the Marillions, which is just something to
Mm,
say about like how powerful of a person he was. Because you got to think like why was he exiled? They don't go into super detail about that,
mm,
and so that like makes me go, okay, this guy's nuts. And then if you look, he
mm,
has a crown on his head, just like Ayn does. So maybe he's like
See,
a
yeah.
yeah. So maybe he's like a prince or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. He might be, running to
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Maybe that's why he was exiled. He tried to challenge Orny or something like that. I just love how deep it is, and that's one of my other points that I want to raise was that
Mm-hmm.
I would love, probably not initially, but maybe within like a year or something of it being back, a gigantic encyclopedia for Chaotic, like just on the lore.
Oh my
A
god!
big.
Yeah, like what Star Wars and Marvel have and
That's what I
everything.
was just about to say. Every time a Star Wars movie comes out, they bring out those encyclopedias with like everything to do with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love that for Chaotic because we got the Ultimate Guide, but the Ultimate Guide, like it's good, but it's only like a handful of creatures in it, a handful of locations,
Yeah, and
and
I feel
we
like
know that
mhm.
their lore is already planned for the next three sets, so they've already got extensive lore
Yeah,
planned, so they can easily make like a big book and just chuck everything in it. I would so buy that.
yeah, and like there's just so many questions and everything that I want answered and everything, and then like I'd also like to see the books continued because the Kalarian Sphere was supposed to be the first of a
Mm,
trilogy, and it ended on a cliffhanger. We never got the sequels or anything, and they give so much. The first one just gives so much information about the past of Chaotic. Like, for instance, you know how like nobody in the TV show knows anything about the past or anything.
mm,
That's a reoccurring issue with the tribes throughout the years. Even back just after the or I think it's set just before the first Marillion War. I'm not entirely sure. Uh, because I haven't read the book yet myself, but I've read synopsises of it.
mm.
It oh darn it, there's my train of thought. Oh yeah, it states somewhere in the book that like, oh, nobody knows anything about the past, and that's something that is very true to us as as a civilization as are well, because you know we don't know everything about our past, and it took us forever to dig up everything. So it's
Mm.
very interesting to see where they're going to go with that. You know.
There was also a few sort of gaps between the show because the people that were in charge of the show
Mm-hmm.
had they were sort of independent of those that were actually making the cards. So sometimes they went a bit on the story arc. They went a couple of a bit far, and that there was stuff that was just never explained.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we got so many creatures that were never made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got. which is my next thing I was going to say was, what's your 3 anime only, or cards only in the show that you want to see made?
Uh, so I'll be honest, I don't know a super huge amount of everybody that has not been made into a card. But first thing that comes to mind is the remaining tribeless creatures that Codemaster Kha'rall used.
Mm.
Um, I'd
Everyone
also,
always says that Ariak, you know?
mhm.
Everyone always says they want Ariak, the little squirrel.
I'd also really like to see, and this is also mentioned in the book, and I'll be honest, I really think that we might actually get a total of 8 tribes because the Dreamlands is something that we get a lot of, or no, Spiritlands. That's what it's called. I'm getting
Spirit
my
lands, yeah.
yeah, I'm getting my Lovecraft mixed with my chaotic. The Dreamlands is very similar to the Spiritlands, but that's Lovecraft. Spiritlands, you know, uh, they were their own tribe and their own like location in Chaotic Now or Never. And
I
so,
think you're on the money there because
mhm,
I think if you look at I think it was in Forge Unity, the Blue Gone's artwork, I think you saw Spirit Tengath Toborn in the
yeah,
background. So I think he was definitely going to get a new card where he was the Spirit Lands version.
hmm,
And I think that's something that they can definitely delve into.
yeah.
Uh,
So I could totally see us getting 2 more tribes. The Frozen, which we still don't know anything about really, which is funny since we've known about them since the very first set.
well,
And
I heard that they were supposed to be coming from Glacier Plains. That's what.
they
Uh,
are super, super far deep into the Glacier Plains. So
mm,
deep, like even farther than wherever the Merolians put the heat cannon at. And you have to wonder, why did the Frozen not interject at all? Their whole homeland was about to be destroyed. Like, what the heck?
mm,
um,
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they're going to work that in.
mm-hmm,
Mine were Mesmer. I don't know if you remember Mesmer. He was the
mm-hmm.
in Dawn of Perim, and in the original season, he was the Marillion looking the Mepedian looking overworlder. He had
Yeah.
no legs. He just had a tail, but he was always in the water.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
never made.
yeah. He never got a
Yeah,
card, did he? Darn.
no, he was in the intro too,
Yeah.
And when I first got into Chaotic, I was like, where the friggin' hell is he? Which set is he in? I was going through everything. I was on Toywiz because back then I didn't know about trade cards online and all that, and I was going nuts thinking he's not anywhere. Like, how can he not be anywhere if he's in the intro? You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one would be Volash. You remember from the Danian, the episode where you get to see Alexia.
Mm-hmm.
He's plays her bodyguard.
Oh, dude, I think, if I remember right, sorry, I'm just double checking because I could have sworn that he was made into a card. And
No.
from what I understand, he was a digital only card.
Oh,
Uh,
maybe.
yeah, because there was
That's a bit
several.
before my time.
Yeah, so there was several digital only cards made by 4Kids to promote the game, and um, which is really annoying. But I could have sworn that he was a digital only. Correct me if I'm wrong, comments, but I'm pretty sure he was a digital only, and that's why you can't
Mm.
find a physical version. Let me. I'll be there in a second. Oh, darn it! I'll be right back. I gotta. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
and.
that's him.
Yeah, yeah. That's what the digital version looks like. I will
Mm.
be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this here. I gotta go.
No worries, man.
Yeah, sorry. My aunt's going to bed, and my dogs won't go to bed until I go and give them their good night treat. It's yeah,
No worries, man. I'll stay
dogs
here.
get into a routine, so
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back. I don't know any other way of just transitioning over into part 2 because we've had a hell of a time trying to get back together for continuing our video. God, it's been a
Life
past.
intervenes.
What?
Life intervenes.
Yes, I pretty much had to. God, it was snowing that night, and then freaking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was snowing that night. I
This
had to.
is like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I think it was more like 3 weeks ago almost, but yeah, it was something
Yeah.
like that, and I had to go and get rid of the snow and everything. And by the time I was done with it, I was so tired I couldn't do it. And then I got sick.
I would have been asleep by then anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the time difference.
Alrighty.
We'll try not to repeat ourselves. I think we've got a good idea of what we're talking about anyway. So
yeah.
What's some cards you want to see modern versions of in Fire and Stone or in further sets afterwards?
Oh god. I would like to see a good version of the worst Mepedian ever made that I hate so much that makes me not want to buy Silent Sands, my favorite set.
He's not that bad.
The Varf is garbage.
But compared to like 90% of Dawn of Perrim, he's okay.
Compared to the third worst set in the game.
It's funny, I already knew what the hell you were talking about.
Seriously.
But see, like, he's good if you just keep him at the back here. Like, if you're just keeping him as a mute guy.
There's no reason to play him, though.
But, like, he's got 2 magicians, okay? Like, compared to half of Dawn of Perrim, he's got 2 magicians. Just let me plead my case.
Oh.
He's got 2 magicians. He's got untargetable, which is nothing to sneeze at. And you can just use him as your mute if you had a position for that. He's not good with War Beasts, obviously. Not like feasible at all. I don't agree with all the hate he gets. I do think he should get a better card that doesn't look so demented, because he looks so different from different from the anime, or the TV show. You know. Okay, now you rip him to shreds.
Okay, so he's got 5 freaking reduced recklessness. That's pitiful. Not a single war beast. That doesn't make a dent in any of them. Maybe
Kha'rall.
Sure, he's got untargetable, which is nice, and 2 magicians, which is nice. But you better have a Gigantroper under him, because if everybody else dies, he's not going to even last a single attack. A Spirit Gust could kill him in most situations.
Yeah,
his average
he would never be for battle.
His average stats have a combined, like, under 50 total. It is so pitiful.
Yeah, he only goes to 25 in all stats, and I think is it 25 energy or 20?
It's something like that, but I'm talking about, like, if you were to combine all of his stats, they would equal under 50 on an average. That is garbage.
Yeah, but like he wouldn't be for battle. You'd use him as your music caster, as you know, like it'd be the same thing if you're using Copenheim Huge. You know, if he goes into battle, he's dead too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's cool just because he's got untargetable. This is way before we had Turn of Tide and, you know, Iflar and Nequin and all that with untargetable, which I think is pretty cool when you look at like 90% of Dawn of Perrim, where like you just cannot play the cards, because if you do use them, you have to use a battle gear that gives them an element, and then that wastes, because they've got no energy, that sort of like wastes, like they're just not going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm a bit biased with Mepedians, as we've already established. I'm probably not the fairest person to talk to, but yeah, I think he's all right. There's a lot of other cards in Silent Sands you could be picking. But
I mean, like, yeah, I guess, but like, just I hate getting Silent Sands purely because of him. Because I pull him so much, and it's like I can't buy Silent Sands without pulling at least one of him, and I hate every time that it happens.
Yeah.
So I
just love that ability, the untargetable, because if you look at like Nihilus, because Nihilus was like my favorite creature originally. You know, the big Mepedian. He doesn't actually have untargetable. It's only protects him from damage, reducing music. But I just thought he was the coolest when I saw him in the show, and that's what sort of made me love that ability. But Fivarth does protect from abilities as well, so it's not just from music; it's from abilities. So you can, you know, stop him from burn and all that. So it means he can't be picked off. Because imagine if he would suck much more if he didn't have protection from abilities, because otherwise they could just like use like one what's the music? Underworld one that does 20 damage.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, just like they can just one shot him, and then he's gone. But
Yeah.
he can't be one shot. He can't get infected. Can't be burn damage, anything like that. Which I kind of like, but yeah, I think he needs a new card. There's so many like of the Mepedians that were in the show that need to be redone. Like we haven't seen an Ario since Dawn of Perrin. We haven't seen Tian, which is like one of really, really good cards from the not good cards, but I really liked him in the show.
Yeah. Dude, a Tian.
Much all the staple.
I would have loved to see a Tian return. I just thought.
Yeah. And
I apologize if I cough a lot. It's something I'm still trying to get over.
You're still getting over, yeah. But who else? Oh, and Subject. I really, really like Subject. I don't like how they just like in Dawn of Perrin they just spam these useless abilities, like how they all have like so many Mepedians had sacrifice your music counters and deal 25 damage and and Braze. I'd like a new Braze. But because the thing is, my prediction is that in Fire and Stone and Storm and Seas and the ones coming up, we're going to get lots and lots of Dawn of Perrin cards reprint. I mean, not reprinted, but new versions of them.
Because, a retrain.
Because if you look at alliances, we got bloody Kuhn, we got Odu Bathax, we got Zaid. We got competitive versions of them that we can actually use now. Because the Dawn of Perrin ones are just useless. You just can't, apart from collecting purposes, you can't use them. So I think that's something we can look forward to because we got lots and lots of DOP stuff in alliances. So I think they'll continue that.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense to me, especially since they want to bring out the new guys, the dragons and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, see, they're probably going to redo a lot of the royals in Fire and Stone. We've got Malvadine. So he gets Defender and Air 5 if you've got an adjacent Royal. So they're going to throw out a whole bunch. That's probably my prediction is when we'll get the new Naina, because we have already seen the artwork for that. We'll probably get some expensive stuff. Oh. Yeah, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Hang on, I'll show it to you. Find it.
I know there was that one like.
She's in the Storms. You know how like all the Mepedians in Fire and Stone are in the Storms? You've got Malvadine who's in the Storms. You've got...
I think I actually know which one you're talking about now because I remember seeing a new Mepedian and she's like in like a snow-covered area and stuff and she's on like a perch.
Oh no, not that one. No, that's that completely new. Here, hang on. I'm sending you it now.
Okay.
This will be the third one of Naina.
Why do you use Bing?
I always use Bing, yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that art before. Huh.
Yeah, see how you got the storm statues in back? So that'll be the third artwork. So this will be when you had like the original Silent Sands, and you had when she was brainwashed in Turn of Tide, and then this will be when she's unbrainwashed.
Yeah.
Which I think she's going to be really cool. I think we'll get cards like Ario again because he's a royal. I love the royal. I've already said. I love the royals. They're my favorite to collect. I don't know if we'll get another iFlower because I don't know if there's much to go on, but
I know there's another. I know there's an art of him at the very least.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't know if that was an alternate art for Turn of Tide, or if it's a artwork that was after Turn of Tide. So we don't know when it's come from.
They'll probably end up like reusing it for him for like a new artwork in it. Like I'm sure it was probably like another possible art that they were deciding on for him. And then
it looks bad as hell, like in a good way. It looks so bad up. I really hope they use it.
Yeah, I could totally see them using it for him for a retrain. Same thing with the Prince Medinu of the one with him like holding the one guy down while he's about to stab him with the sword.
Oh yes, that's the one. That's the storm backgrounds as well.
I love that artwork. I always thought that they were on on the Mepedian Castle staircase, because that's what it always looked like to me. Because it looks like the same
That's the
stair.
other thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing I'm really looking forward to is we're going to get the Royal Mipidum Palace
Mm-hmm.
with all the royals, because it's mentioned in the Ultimate Guide to Chaotic. They mentioned the Royal Mipidum Palace as Thebzar's favorite location. I think it's Thebzar anyway.
Yeah.
Which is going to be awesome. You're going to get like stuff. Do you know what I really hope they do? Is I really hope they give us a battle gear that gives us strike.
Ooh.
That would be nice because it would really help with stuff like Prince Mudinu, Champion of the Guard. Because we can get invisibility surprise, but you can't get strike. So I think that would be cool.
Yeah, dude, imagine like getting Thebzar's armor as a battle gear. I could not remember the word for the life of me.
Xerium armor.
yeah, and then like it gave you
that would be awesome.
Yeah, and then it could give you like strike and I don't know. God, what's another good one? Strike and what?
Disarm. It's just too broken.
Strike and disarm.
Really yeah.
Strike 20 plus
strike
disarm.
30. Yeah, it's just a tad broken.
Just a tad.
But I really hope we see stuff like his. Like I've been going nuts thinking about the dragons, and it would be really nice to have like Thebzar's royal dragon or something like his personal dragon, and then like a dragon as a battle gear, many dragons as creatures.
Dude,
we're probably a bit short on creatures in Fire and Stone as it is because they do tend because it's only 100 card set, the Fire and Stone.
Yeah, dude,
what were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I'd love to see the dragons be like able to be battle gear and because I think we were kind of talking about that a bit, like where they could totally do them be treated as battle gear and being a creature, like maybe
or even if they just have some that are made like a generic one as a battle gear, and then they have like the boss dragon as the creature and all that. I think that would just be so cool because they just look insane. If you look at the one in Thebzar's artwork, and then there's another creature, Alex. If you look at him, the dragon above him actually looks like the dragons from Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know, the red and the blue one, which I absolutely love. Yeah. So, yeah, I am very, very hopeful that they will do lots of stuff with the dragons. But it's going to be pretty damn broken. I think the Mepedians, I think it's safe to say, are going to probably take the lead in the favourite tribe when Thebzar comes out. He's not coming out to Storm and Seas, though, so good time. But, yeah, like, he's most likely going to have... I think it's going to have something with Disarm. Because we haven't seen anything good except, like, Colmo.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything since Colmo, and it's such a good ability. And do you know what we really need? We need like a good Mepedian Muge with 3 Mugic counters. It doesn't have to be a fighter, but just something good. Because like I realized the other day when I was looking at what's the Dawn of Perim? Is it Song of Deflection? It's bloody 3 Mugic counters, and in Dawn of Perim we didn't even have a Mepedian with 3 Mugic counters, and we had a Mugic with 3 Mugic. You know, like it's just impossible to play.
Yeah, I mean. The best thing I can think they could do for that is maybe another Henry Hep retrain, but I don't think they could possibly come up with a better version of him than High Muge of the Desert.
He's really good in the strike deck.
Yeah,
for burn. Not for burn, but for doubling your like Symphony of the Garden.
Yeah, if not Henry Hep. I mean, that could be where... Oh, a Tian retrain. That could be a pretty good...
Yeah, they've got lots. Or Subject, they've got lots to pick from.
Yeah. That's for sure.
But one other thing that I would love to see is I actually made a fan-made version of it. Is I use Sirlith, which is another new artwork anyway, that hasn't been turned into a card yet. I would love to see. I gave her 3 Mugic counters, and because she looks like a Muge or a Conjurer, one of the two. I would love to see something like have 3 Mugic counters and then sacrifice one music counter target attack gains untargetable, so you don't have to use Indigo Arc, because it's such a waste of a battle gear using Indigo Arc on your strike deck,
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see that, like sacrifice music counter, target attack gains untargetable, so that they can't, target it or like deflect it or stop it or anything. I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be. Thinking about that, it does sound pretty good. So,
I don't know if we spoke. I don't think we spoke about this, but one thing I would love to see, or one thing that I think they have to do, I think, because one thing everyone hated about the old Chaotic was spending so much money buying the booster boxes, buying the packs, whatever, pulling the really good card, but then getting shitty energy.
mm-hmm.
So I think they need to fix the energy at max.
Yeah.
But still keep the disciplines variable.
Somebody commented on my ways that they can improve chaotic video that I did a while back. That something that they could do to try and counter to like still do the codes and everything, but however make it to where that like scamming is a lot harder or something, is to basically make it so that you. Oh, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, to where all the codes are covered by a peel and stick. Like a peel and stick sticker.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that would work or not. Like really thinking about it, but it would be an interesting way of going about it. I don't know.
I don't like that idea. it just sounds cheap to have a little sticker peeling off. I get what you mean. I think, to be honest, with how to getting counteracting all the scamming and the stealing codes from people's cards on eBay or photos or saved images or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll probably have like an app. They'll most definitely have an app in this day and age where you can take like a scan of the card in person,
mm-hmm.
and you need to actually move the card around or something so that the app can tell that you're actually the owner. It's not a image on Google or something like that.
Then you'd literally have your phone as a scanner. I love it.
Yeah, well, they'll definitely have something like that, because when the website comes, I mean, can you imagine how good it's going to be in this day and age?
Mm-hmm.
It was already very good. I mean, Chaotic was ages ahead of its time. So now the website's going to be amazing. They'll most definitely have an app to accompany it, so that you can play around with your deck and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be a good way. But as I was saying before, I think they need to, because people are saying, they need to just keep all disciplines and energy fixed. And I don't like that, because one of Chaotic's biggest selling points was having unique. So you scan them, sometimes they've got high courage or blah, blah, blah. I think energy needs to be fixed, because energy is king. But I think disciplines still need to remain varied.
Yeah.
Because you want to get, otherwise it loses its appeal. Chaotic was all about having every card as unique, and I think it's going to lose that if you fix all the discipline.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see that. I don't know. I mean, they gotta do something to where... This is one of the biggest issues nowadays with this, is that, it's going to be very... They gotta do something that will allow them to kind of just be able to please as many people as possible, but it's going to be impossible to please everybody, And so...
I think that they'll most likely... look after the old school players by doing the, I don't know what it is in Magic. I would up Stevie would be able to help me. I always get it mixed up. The what's the old school people called in Magic?
Like that. Not traditional, retro. I have no idea. I don't play Magic.
Modern is the new one.
Oh, modern.
Modern's and then there's the retro one. So I think they would have ones where you can play just your old cards. You can have a game with just your old cards, a game where you can have just modern, so just from Fire and Stone onwards, and then probably one where you can have both. You can mix both. I think that's the safest way to do it, to appeal to everyone. I mean, to be honest, there's people that are saying that they're not going to use the codes, or they're not going to use any of the cards that are already made. That's foolish, really, because that's a market that they have already got in their hands. They've already got tons of people in their hands that already have tons and tons of cards, and that's a big appeal if they've already got value without even buying Fire and Stone. They've already got value. I think that's something they need to take advantage of.
Yeah.
But I think they'll most likely make the first 8 sets available digitally. I don't know if I said that before or not, but that's what I see them doing, making them available on the website.
Yeah.
And then that way people can get cards like iFlower that they can't get in real life and all that, and they can use them on the website and that.
Yeah. And, I can see them doing that too, especially, like, for just getting the game back and going, like, hey, like, if ever, like, for everybody who joins or makes an account within, like, the first week or two, you get to, just be able to have access to all the cards right away, which would be a really interesting way of doing it. Honestly, I prefer them to possibly look into printing the cards again, like as like maybe a couple really big reprint sets or something, just because there's always going to be that physical appeal. But I could totally see them doing a digital only card game. If nothing else, just to save money for the first like year or two.
Or at least for the first 8 sets. I think they need the trading cards too to generate the profits for to continue.
Yeah, the thing though is that we know that digital card games can do incredibly well thanks to Hearthstone and stuff like that. Nowadays, at least, purely digital, and I never even considered that as a possibility until just now when you were talking about possibly having the original 8 sets reprinted or given for free for everybody to get started with, because it just would not be fair if they allowed us to use all the cards again, but also not give access to them to some way, shape, or form to the new people.
This is why I thought that they would do the online, because the thing is, it's just not realistic to reprint 8 sets, because it's a massive financial blow to for a very small margin of their audience. And also
here's the thing though, like at the end of the day, with regards to that, I would hope that they don't care. The only company that cares about the secondary market is Wizards of the Coast, and a lot of people hate them for it right now. A lot of people would love to be able to play the original format, but they can't because Black Lotus, which you need 4 of, is on the reserve list, and you got to pay $20,000 to get.
You can actually play 4.
Yeah, or I don't know, or however many you can play in a game. I'm just going off of what I've been told in regards to other things, because there's an ever increasing demand to have the reserve list get just destroyed, gotten rid of. But you got these super wealthy people who have control over that because they have basically stocks and investment in Magic for that, and like. If you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, like, sure, people complain for like a week whenever a like $100 card gets announced for a reprint, and now it's $2 and people can actually play with it. But I'll be honest, I bear no sympathy for people who do not want to see reprints just because they want to save money. It's if I haven't priced it out, but my collection probably a good chunk of change. I would not be at all distraught that my cards would go being worthless. That being said, I doubt the original cards will actually not hold any value. I guarantee you they will, because due to licensing and trade, licensing and copyright reasons, I doubt they can keep the cards looking exactly the same. So you're going to have... It's going to be like with the Bandai Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Have you ever seen those?
Like the original ones.
Yeah, the original Bandai Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The ones that look more like the really, 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 really old, like from the manga and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. it'd be just like with that. Those cards still hold collector value, even though they're not playable in the current game. I could see them doing
Mm.
something like that.
Mm.
Uh,
I see them maybe going. That's why I was saying that they will make the first eight sets available online
yeah.
instead of reprinting, because that's the best of both worlds. It's giving people who don't have them. I mean, what I hope they don't do is microtransaction the website to death, because you
Hmm.
see so many websites like, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that. Like, it's not about actually having a fun. It's about
Yeah.
paying for it.
Hmm. Now,
Uh,
of course, if you think about it, card packs are loot boxes.
Pretty much, yeah. So,
Mhm.
I mean, and there's lots of, and see, that also appeals to people who don't like collecting cards. I mean, when the old website was when the old website was up, there was lots of people that didn't care for collecting real cards. They just wanted the online stuff because it was easy,
Yeah.
and so it
Yeah.
appeals to both markets. But you've got to remember, everyone's banging on about reprints and give us everything. I don't think it's feasible, because it's a massive financial risk.
Yeah.
Also, it's about 10 years old, so you want to focus on the new, not on the old.
Hmm.
And and three, they're going to be. Don't worry, they're going to be outdated. Like the Fire and Stone, the cards are going to be so competitive that nothing in the first eight sets will. I mean, maybe it's a mill, but like nothing else will, stack up to them. They're going to get outpowered,
Well,
or
I
whatever
doubt
it's power
Subnul
creep's
and
going to
Lord
be big.
Von Blute's Servant of Iron will ever be completely overpowered, but uh,
But the large majority will. And so the thing is, the large majority will, because the power creep's going to be very big, and
mhm.
they can always just reprint new creatures with the same ability or a similar ability to
Yeah.
appeal
Hey, so
to.
I gotta end the record. Okay, so we're good now.
Okay. Um,
Sorry about all the
and
interruptions.
that's okay. And one other thing I think they should fix is the ultra pull ratio,
Uh huh.
because I think there was it wasn't uncommon to actually buy a box and not pull an ultra.
Yeah,
Um,
that
and I think
is.
they should make it at least two per
Yeah,
box.
yeah. Same here. Like you look at like Yu-Gi-Oh, and I hate to use Yu-Gi-Oh as my frame of reference, but that's the only card game I play other than Chaotic. You buy a box, you're guaranteed at least two secret rares, the highest rarity that you can get in a standard main set. It used to just be one, but they bumped it up because the sets would get so top heavy, and you would just not be able to get the cards you needed. And I feel like that's a lot of the issues with why a lot of Chaotix cards are so expensive, because you get like Iflar, who is the hardest ultra to get out of the set, and this stupid thing's stupid expensive now.
And it was so random though.
Yeah,
Like, cards just became, cards in the set. Yeah, I don't think they deliberately,
yeah,
made set. I think it just randomly happened to be that way, and
mhm,
certain cards were much harder to pull
yeah.
than others.
Yeah, I would hope that they never did short printing like what Yu-Gi-Oh does now. If you guys don't know what short printing is, so on a theoretic base, every like using chaotic for an example, you should have an equal chance to pull any ultra. Okay, so there's what usually, like, let's say there's 8 ultra rare creatures in a set. You should have an equal chance for each ultra to be one of those creatures. Well, what Yu-Gi-Oh has started doing, and has been doing for a while now, and it's been getting really, really annoying, is let's say one of those cards is a meta-defining card that you need like as many copies of for every deck to play, and then all the others, they range in playability. Well, that one card is going to be significantly harder. You're going to be like, let's say that is like one every 5 boxes. Well, all the others are like, oh, you're basically guaranteed to get them out of any given box. It's gotten really, really, really stupid. It's to the point where cards in like tier 3 decks are $100+ purely because they are so much harder to get than other cards in the same set at the same rarity.
And what about that the new secret rare they've brought, or the new rarity they brought out for Yu-Gi-Oh! That's now like $1,000
Oh, the
a card?
the Starlight rarity. That's something they
Yeah.
started doing 2 sets ago, where they pick one card from every rarity, and you have like a 1 in like 500 chance of it being a super special Starlight rarity instead. Uh, it's
Or was it
so
boxes?
it's like I think there's like 1 in every 5 boxes or something like that. I don't know the exact ratios on
Still
it.
extremely expensive though for, you know,
Yeah, and then those are short
one of
print.
them's like $1,000.
Yeah, and then those are short printed too. Theoretically, you should have an equal chance to get any given Starlight rare. That's not the
Mm.
case. They
Yeah.
typically pick the best card from each rarity, and the best one is like stupid hard to get. Like Apollousa is the hardest one to get off the top of my head. That one, uh, it's like jeez, it's ridiculously hard to pull. Like I got lucky and did pull a Starlight rare, but it was the easiest one to get, and it was like $80 compared to a Palusa who's 400 plus.
I saw in the one of the latest sets there was like a Thunderstrike or something like that. It was
Oh,
like $1,000.
that was
Oh no, that wasn't the 1,001. It
uh,
was the girl, wasn't it? It's always the girl, the one that was a
well, yeah,
picture
the
of a girl or
waifus,
something.
the waifus.
Yeah,
But I think the Thunderstrike one actually was close to that for a while.
I think
That
it's around 800 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was sneak peek prices. It's settled down to closer to like 400 now or something like that. Um, once the set like actually releases, a lot of those prices tend to go down.
Yeah, it's amazing how expensive everything is when it first comes out.
Yeah.
But you raised something that I want to talk about that I hope they fix is that no matter what set you buy, maybe not alliances because all but one of the ultras are creatures, but you're always more likely to pull an ultra battle gear location or attack over a creature.
Oh
You know?
really? Hmm.
Oh yeah, like I've bought every set in bulk, like massive amounts of bulk, and like for example, Silent Sands, I bought 2,050 from the UK packs, loose packs. I pulled 5 Blasphatan in 2,050 packs. I pulled so many Apocalypse and Aparu Jungle. It's not even funny, and it was so frustrating because when I bought that amount, I was thinking I'm going to pull so many Blasphatan, and I pulled
Hmm.
5. You know?
That honestly doesn't surprise me. I mean, if you think about it, the creatures are the chase cards, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's what people want. So you don't want to,
Hmm.
theoretically, they don't want to give people exactly what they want
Yeah, but
so
5
easily
out of
because then
2,000.
yeah, and then you got cards like Ifla, and even in Turn of Tide, you're more likely to pull
Hmm.
the battle gear over the 4. Even though it's split down the middle, there's 4 battle gear and creatures, the ultras. You're
Hmm.
more likely to pull the the less desired ultra over
Yeah.
the really good one. You know,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's something I'd like to see them fix. And just touching on what you said before, as much as I know, I mean, when you think about it, if you've seen the stencil Fire and Stone, that the card design actually is different. The font was increased. It was all they did play around with it, although we never got to see it. Um, I think they should stick as close to it as possible. I don't think they should. It's not. I don't think it's wise to do a completely brand new design just because Kaijudo.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and I do agree. And Kajuto was pretty close to how the original Duel Master cards looked, but they weren't exact. And the same thing, I agree with that Chaotic should try and stick as close as possible. I know. I think it was Negative Legend. I can't remember. In one of his videos, he was talking about how he kind of hopes that they do mess around with it a bit because
Mm.
apparently he's not the biggest fan of the.
He didn't like the codes.
He also I remember him saying something about not being a big fan of Chaotic's setup for uh, its design and everything. I don't know. I can't remember now. I really don't know if he said it or not, but I remember somebody did, and I can kind of see why it's a bit jumbled, but I think it's fine.
I think it's perfectly practical. I don't see anything wrong with it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
like
think,
trying to think of a way to
mhm.
critique it, and I really can't think of anything now that I say it.
I mean, I think I really, when I saw the stencil, shown larger and bigger because, in the earlier sets, the font was a bit skinny or a bit small. So I
Hmm.
like that they enlarged everything and made it. It just looks more attractive.
Yeah.
It just popped better in the Fire and Stone stencil. But see, Kaijudo is the perfect example of how not to bring back a TCG.
Hmm.
They reused the original artwork from Duel Masters and then didn't respect any of the creatures. They didn't give them the same abilities. They gave them completely new names. The foiling was disgusting. You know,
Yeah.
it was just a car crash.
Dude, I don't know if it's just me, but with Kaijudo, for some reason, with a lot of the foils, they felt like they were covered in like some kind of slime or film or
Yeah,
something.
like cheap. It just was cheaper.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, Wizard of the Coast has no faith in card games other than Magic, and
and
even
Magic.
that they're killing somehow. Um,
Yeah, but I think that's something they need to bear in mind because they've got one shot to do this right.
hmm.
There's no takesies backsies. They've only got one shot to do it right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I tried. I wanted Kaijudo to work so bad because I'm a massive collector of Duel Masters too, and I wanted it to work, but
Hmm.
I just could not get behind. Just it was disgusting. The
Dude,
cards looked horrible.
I tried so hard to get my friends and stuff into Kaijudo because I loved Duel Masters as a kid. I still have my VHS of the first like 3 episodes, and
Mm.
uh, dude, I tried so hard, but none of my friends, like some of them were like, oh yeah, if it sticks around, maybe. But like that's the
Stevie bought some of the packs, and he didn't like them either. I'm like, but it just like the original Duel Masters was really good. The foils looked really good. The lore, everything was good.
Mhm.
They just killed it massively. And then don't even get me started on the new show. Like the original Duel Masters show was so good. It was a perfect like. We were probably like 10 years old when we were watching it, and the humor was just so good. Like they knew that they were in a cartoon.
I, I'm
It was
I'm gonna be
it was really
100%
good.
honest. I actually really liked the Kaijudo TV show.
The new one.
Yeah, I actually really
Oh my
liked
god,
it. Uh,
you're on your own.
oh, but I do got something really cool to show you. Turn on camera.
Mm.
Okay, so the last ever time I played Kaijudo, my locals would give you. I actually topped at my locals, which wasn't saying much. There's 4 people playing, um,
Mm.
but I topped, and by topped I mean I made like I think I was in first or second place. Can't remember. And out of the last pack I ever got for Kaijudo, I pulled Clean Kalima out of it, and she was like a $30 card at the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's
I think it's the border that I can't get. It's the border and the fact that the writing doesn't have a box
mhm.
around it. Yeah, it's just too. It looks like Card Fight Vanguard, which I hate too. I don't like that. But
uh, I
always
actually
good when you pull a really expensive card.
the border I'm fine with, and but like everything else, like it is super jumbled. Like I look at this, and
It's
Queen
very busy,
Kalima,
isn't it?
yeah, she makes like the like you like people complain about Yu-Gi-Oh having jumbled text, but like Kaijudo was even worse about it.
Mm.
God, looking at these just makes me kind of nostalgic about it. I managed to get one of my Magic friends into it since he is obsessed with Magic, and Kaijudo was originally designed to be like Magic Light. Uh, but
Yeah, oh, I found that Magic players always turn their nose up at Duel Masters. I tried to get Stevie into it, and he's like, he doesn't like it at all. you know.
uh, my buddy went into it open minded, and he liked it. He said he understood why it died from the moment he started playing because having to exhaust your resources out of your hand to put mana out, which while on paper is a good idea to solve the mana screwing issue, he wasn't a big fan of having to use your hand. He'd much rather like take the top card of your deck or something to do it, which is kind of what Force of Will does.
I'm not familiar with Force,
Force of
but
Will tries to solve the mana screwing issue as well by making it to where the mana is kept in another deck, and in order to
really?
and in order to get the mana out, you basically always have a commander, and you can tap your commander to be able to put mana out, but you can't use your commander for anything the turn that you do that. So it's a game of trying to figure out. Yeah, if you ever get a chance, give Force of Will a try. It's not bad.
I have seen that. I think because Negative Legend does a lot of the
Yeah,
unboxing,
yeah,
but the cards are a bit busy for me.
yeah.
I like a little bit more refined, more American-looking cards than the,
Maybe it's because I like the anime art style and everything.
probably. Usually
But
very big on anime.
yeah, dude, I would
Right.
love to see Force of Will make a comeback in my area, but
So
it
is it dead now?
it's not dead, kinda. I
Is it
follow
still
the.
released? Like getting released in America? Or?
Oh yeah, they still get plenty of new products and everything. Heck, I think a new structure deck and a new set just dropped or something. I follow the company on Facebook, and they are really trying their best to regain fans because they screwed up so bad twice in a row back when the game was first beginning. I'm talking a tier 0 deck with a structure deck screwing up bad. Yeah, and after that, a whole bunch of people quit, and they were dropped by almost every major vendor out there. Um, and then they screwed up again by having another tier 0 format almost immediately afterwards, and even more people dropped them, and it just got ridiculous. People were like, okay, they clearly don't care about card balance, and they had to do like an emergency ban list. They've tried everything. There's just so many companies out there that don't even want to even touch it because they are scared of them screwing up again. And I get it, but at the same time, it's a darn good game. I really wish people would give it more of a chance. The company has tried moving on to other card games. They came up with this one where I actually bought the structure deck. My locals carried it, and it sold out within a week, but they never bothered carrying more for it. God, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like one where like the entire premise is that like every deck is like magical girls and stuff, and they fight and all that, and it's really stupid, and it plays exactly like Force of Will, with minor changes, and I guess they were just trying to release another Force of Will, but not have Force of Will
Like
attached to the name.
Yeah, just try and reimage it and get away with.
Yeah, but it didn't. It did not go
driving
over
it into
well.
the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's sort of what happened. Well, I guess it was. Oh God, how long have we been waiting for Kaijudo? When did Kaijudo come out? And like,
I can't remember.
because it would have stopped around about 2006 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
The original Duel Masters would have stopped. But see, Duel Masters was never strong enough. It's not like Chaotic. Chaotic had a very, very loyal, very, decent fan base. People loved it because really, when you think about it, if you look at Chaotic, you look at everything. You look at the disciplines, the energy. You've got an attack deck. You've got your Nugic. You've got battle gear. It looks too busy. Anything you would think it wouldn't work because it looks too much, but it does. It works perfectly. That's what. It's just really, really good.
Yeah.
TCG math. It just works really well.
Yeah. Dude, my one Magic friend that I was telling you about earlier, he loves Chaotic. I've gotten me and him usually end up playing at least 1 or 2 duels whenever we hang out, and he just borrows my decks. He has no interest in actually picking up the cards until the game comes back, but I got him into it, and he's like, dude, this game's actually not half bad.
Yeah, it has an effect when people
the funniest thing
try
is,
it out.
Yeah, the funniest thing is that back in middle school, he was one of the biggest chaotic haters because he was like, it's not Magic, so it's bad. And I'm like, dude, there's card games other than Magic. And he's like, yeah, it's bad. I don't have any interest. And everybody at my middle school was obsessed with chaotic for a good like 2 or so years. So everybody would be playing chaotic or talking about chaotic, and he'd be over there just like, Magic.
But see, like, everything was strong with chaotic. Like, it was just the TC show incredibly good. The intro was captivating and very, it sort of sucked you in. And then you had the show, which was not babyish, which is what you want, because whenever they do reboots like Beyblade, Kaijudo, Bakugan, they re-market the TCG and the show for a younger audience, thinking that that's going to work, and it never does. Like, Chaotic was for a bit of a more grown-up sort of. It wasn't for real young kids. Like, it was an older, because the game's very complex. Like, it's hard to, figure out everything, the first time you're playing. Yeah. So I think they need to be smart about that. I mean, I would love to believe that they're going to bring back the original voice artists and somehow continue on, because I'm sure they had many plans to do, like, the lore for the TCG is very extensive, and they've got that plan for the next, like, 4 sets.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they can skate around the leak tape for the show. I think, anyway, they're owners of it anyway, but they might not be able to get all the voice artists back.
I would hope that they'd be able to get most, if not all of them, back. I'm sure from what I've read, most of them are still in the voice acting industry, and a lot of times voice actors are pretty willing to come back just for one character. And I really feel like that they could just pick up where they left off.
There's no reason why not. Like, they didn't bomb. It's not like Chaotic was bombed. It was just because of that. 4 kids got greedy and the legal suit happened. It was nothing to do with the TCG or the show. It was just unfortunate that very, very unfortunate, because really you were looking at the turn of the game, weren't you? Like, when Fire and Stone was coming out, it was the turn of the game. It was becoming very competitive. The cards were very big and bossy, as opposed to when you look when it started at Dawn of Peril and all that. It's come a long way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I really hope that they just pick up where they left off. I hope that they put all the episodes of the original series on, like, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, wherever. I really, really, really want Blu-ray releases of it.
You're one of those people that actually buys Blu-ray.
Yes, I am a collector at heart. I can show you my anime shelf. I have...
well, there you go. It's because you love anime. That's why. It's all in Blu-ray.
God, I want to own it. I want to have it. I don't trust digital-only media. I've been burned by that too many times.
I was just saying to Stevie the other day, literally like yesterday, with One Piece, because I was in JB Hi-Fi the other day. The One Piece DVDs look pretty good when you shove them all together. And like, no, I can watch it online. Why would I pay for something when I can watch it online? I said, yeah, but you've got the DVDs. You can watch it wherever you want, whenever you want, and you've got, like, it'll be in, like, crystal clear quality. It's like, no, I can watch it online. So there's some people you can't sell it.
Well, that's why I think that they should totally, do both. I mean, heck, most anime is available on streaming sites and for Blu-ray purchases. It's only really when it's a Netflix original like Devilman Crybaby that it doesn't get a Blu-ray. And that really still upsets me.
But yeah, I think that's something that they definitely need to send out the original shows first. But to be honest, I think I sort of changed. I can't remember if I mentioned it before, but I did change my mind. I sort of thought that they were going to have to release the TCG first, and then sort of they'd bring a show out from that. But I don't think that's wise because the shows sell the cards. They help sell
Yeah,
the cards.
yeah,
So I think they need to have a show already in the wing to launch with the website. That's a triple whammy. You got the TCG, the show, and the website, and that'll just fuel a whole bunch of revenue as opposed to let's just release a couple of sets, see if it's good, then we'll make a show. It'll be too delayed. It'll be too choppy and mishmash. People will be waiting. It'll be really, really good chemistry if they do the show, the website, and the TCG all together. It'll just really captivate people.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And I would love to see that. Just put everything on as many streaming sites as possible. Release Blu-ray releases of it. Heck, the Blu-ray could come with like a promo or something, or like a code that
Oh
you can.
god. Yeah. Oh god. You're gonna have me buying Blu-ray now.
I mean that's what freaking Yu-Gi-Oh does. The new card game, the new like video game just came out back in I think December-ish, and
But
they
Chaotic were pretty bad at it, weren't they?
yeah.
Like if you think about it, they had those VHS tapes, and I remember even I bought Chaotic DVDs, the Aussie version of
Mm-hmm.
them, and they used to say, "Oh, it comes with a free Chaotic card," and like, "Oh my god, it must be something rare," and it was just a common from DOP. I mean, they
uh,
did good with the video games, but with
mm-hmm.
they remember the VHSs
Yeah.
and the DVDs, they really led people astray. Like they just threw a DOP common in, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
So
one thing that I've always really
pretty
liked, I
good
mean,
market.
yeah, and that reminds me of promos. One thing I always really liked about them with the promos is that the promos, with very few exceptions, were incredibly powerful. They were just collector cards, typically being all arts or just kind of okay cards. Then you get stuff like Prince Medino, who's really, really good, but
Mm.
God, like
And Carnoan and all that. Yeah.
yeah, but you look at like Nebris, Gadup, Imuk,
Oh, the tournament ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
The
uh,
tournament pack. Yeah. Yeah. Most of
Ursanon,
them were, but see, most of those cards were. I mean, some of them were just revamped versions of cards that were never released.
yeah,
Like Sukuval was Mesmer. We never
mm-hmm.
got Mesmer, but Sukuval was pretty much him, but not him. So
Yeah,
which sucked, but yeah,
yep,
and uh,
yeah. Didn't you have a list
but
of
yeah, I
stuff you
think
want to talk about?
sort of. I'm trying to see what we've already gone through, but the I think it'll really give you and Pokemon and Magic 2 a run for its money when it comes back.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I could totally see Chaotic replacing Magic if it gets big enough in terms of like the big three of the card games. Uh,
Definitely.
the
Well, Pokemon it will blow out of the water straight away. No one even knows how to play. You know.
The only reason I say Magic in particular is because from what I've seen from watching Magic YouTubers like Alpha Investments, Desolator Magics, and all them, uh, they like Magic. The player base seems really disenfranchised with the game right now. Well,
Mm.
not so much the game, but more so Wizards of the Coast. They just have not been handling stuff right at all, and
And I think it's hard for people for them to generate new fans because it's so expensive.
yeah,
Like I was at a point, Stevie was trying to get me into it, and I was like, some cards are cool, but it's very expensive. Just to get a play set of one card can set you back, $200, $300,
yeah,
and you've got to build a whole deck. And then you've got budget decks, and they don't compare to the competitive deck. It's very, very expensive.
yeah,
Even to buy a box.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. From what I've seen, Magic is overall a much more expensive card game than Yu-Gi-Oh, and
Mm.
that's why I don't really have any interest in not playing anything other than Yu-Gi-Oh. I've tried Pokemon. Pokemon just bored the ever living heck out of me. The game,
Mm.
there's no player interaction whatsoever.
It's
You
got a
do,
lot of power creep now too.
yeah, I don't know too much about the current meta game, but back when I played, it was literally okay. I do everything on my turn. it's your turn. I sit there and watch you do everything to my Pokemon with no ability to respond or save my Pokemon or do anything whatsoever. Okay, my turn. I do it too. One of us wins.
Yeah,
it's like
it's very robotic
yeah.
and a bit boring. That was very boring, and the cards are crap. Let's face it. I mean, compared to the original Pokemon, like the first like 8 sets or something, you know, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
the like, you know how they're trying to be like dual masters where the really rare cards come out of the artwork and all that. I don't really like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Everything's got 500 power and it's got 500 hit points and it does, you know, 1,000,000 damage, and it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the newer like super rare cards that have like the cards are coming out of the artwork and they got like big Japanese lettering and everything, and I'm like, that just doesn't look good to me. I mean,
It doesn't.
if personally my favorite card is the Shadow Lugia card that was a promo for freaking XD Gale Darkness Shadow Lugia card.
I
And
know the name.
it's it. Oh wow! Wait, did he get? Oh, that's a custom card. But yeah, he had. It was a jumbo card, so you couldn't play it in a game or anything, which sucks too. But
Oh,
but oh well.
was this for the video game?
Here I'll send you the link to it on.
Because wasn't there a video game with that title?
It was a promo for XD Gale Darkness. You had to go to like a pre-release event for it or something. And I don't know. I just always really liked the look of it. It's a freaking jumbo card, so you can't play it in a game, but it still looks really cool.
I find most people don't collect. But anyway. Oh yeah, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the same artwork as the on. A thousand attack. It's the same thing. It's the same artwork on the video game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I just always liked that. I actually have a couple Pokemon cards that I just have for the heck of it. Same thing with Force of Will. I actually like really kind of want to collect Force of Will promos because I love Force of Will's artwork. but but like
do they do deck toppers or whatever they're called, where like you get a card inside the booster box loose? Is that what they're called? Was that a different? One of them did it.
I
can't remember which one it was.
I've never heard
I think
of
that's
that.
an interesting topic. You know, like you know how like when you open a box, you sometimes get a little pamphlet explaining the set and all that and the cards in it, and then sometimes they would throw in a loose card in the box.
Huh.
I think that would be pretty cool.
I've never heard of a card game doing that before, but it does sound.
But see, the problem with that is that, you know, retailers open up the boxes and sell them in stores, and they don't sell a complete box sealed. You know, otherwise they'll charge you $9 a pack.
Well,
for the entire
box. That's why you go to like a
Good Game and all that. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say like a local game store or something. Like my locals, they'll sell you a box sealed and everything. But put it like an extra like promo or something. I'd get people to buy boxes more.
Yeah, just something, make it more. Like I really like what they did with Fire and Stone tins, where they had the little Fire and Stone preview pack of the upcoming set. Just 3 cards in there. I think that's a really good way to keep people engaged and like looking forward to the new set, and keeps them involved. And I really hope that they continue that on, because I think, you know, I'd like to think that they know what they're doing, because they really evolved from Dawn of Peril. You know, the tins, the sets, everything really, they took it to a new level. So I really hope that they continue on from it, and they've learnt from their mistakes, because they've certainly made some. You know, with all the misinformation, all that, you know. But if you want to talk about now, I thought it'd be good to talk about Fire and Stone, because I was debating, you know, how people are saying, people are pretty much saying that, you know, 100 cards isn't enough for the first set, you know, so I was thinking possibly the names ring, they could mix Fire and Stone and Storm and Seas together to create a 200 card set.
I would think that would be a lot better. I mean, personally, I think a 100 card set could work. It depends on how evenly spread everything is. And I'm mostly
I mean,
saying it because Yu-Gi-Oh has 100 card sets and they work pretty well. But
yeah, they're going
Yu-Gi-Oh,
to add cards in for your like, because they're going to have to create starter
mm-hmm.
and tin, and so the starter decks will help people just like create like their base,
Yeah,
like a base deck and all that sort of stuff, and then they can just build on it from. It's not a big deal, you
yeah,
know. They're going to have to create the decks though, because the alliances decks were already made.
yeah,
But that's not a big problem. They can just create some. I mean, they'll have tons of artwork to
mm-hmm.
pick from, that and creatures and stuff that they can, lean on and make. I don't really see a big problem with a 100 card set, but some people are going around saying, "Oh, no, it's too small." Um, I think 3 months isn't a very, that goes very quickly. It's going to take you a while to get all the cards in the set, particularly if you don't like buying boxes and you want to buy bulk and all that on eBay. It's going to take you a while. It's going to take you about 3 months to get everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next set will come out, and then just build on it from there.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Crap, I lost my train of thought. Darn. Oh yeah, if they go with the same route that they used to, where like they release like one structure deck for every for each of the core tribes,
Mm-hmm.
Overworld, Underworld, Mepedian, Danian, that would work out really, really well. Uh, in addition to the good old, uh, in addition to just a 100 card set. But I could see them doing the 200 card set, combining fire and stone and storm and
Storm
sea.
and Sea.
Yeah, I
Just
could.
because the names ring, the next one's Elemental Emperors, which is a very big block. Like, it's a game-changing block, so that sort of needs to sit by itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they could, if they wanted to, fire and stone and storm and seas. It's all about the elements.
Yeah,
It works.
yeah, and then you'd have more cards. You'd have more people. You'd have a much more varied meta game because you'd have even more options for people to work with. So I do feel like that could work out pretty well. It just comes down to what they want to do and how they want to go about doing it.
And when you think about it, they're going to have to introduce. It's not just about bringing out fire and stone with the decks. They're going to have to introduce the over again. So there's going to be a whole bunch of new cards. They're going to have to make new cards for each of the decks for Underworld, Overworld, Mepedian, Danian, Marillion.
Yeah.
They're going to have to introduce them all again, and reestablish it all. So think of that on top of Fire and Stone. They're not going to. They might use some attacks and all that from Fire and Stone, but I see them using different cards. They'll make new cards specifically for the decks and
Yeah.
tins and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and they yeah, I'm just like, now you got me really thinking, because I'm like, like, honestly, I kind of want to see them kind of do it like with what Yu-Gi-Oh did it, where, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe how Yu-Gi-Oh did it was they released the original starter decks first, and then like a month later the first set dropped, or like a week later the first set dropped. That gives people time to get introduced with the starter decks, and then the core booster set comes out, and then you can start making alterations and changes. You don't want to wait.
I think you're right. I think they brought the tins out as well. They had tins and the decks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then I know they did something similar with Speed Duels, where the Speed Duel structure decks came out, and then like a month or two later. Now, personally, I think they waited way too long. They waited like 2 or 3 months. It was something like that. I can't remember. Where before they released the follow up to the Speed Duel structure decks with the Speed Duel booster set, and I feel like that was too long. And I feel like that with maybe a 2 week, 3 week most wait between the release of the structure deck and the release of the uh, main set, then that could work.
Mm. To be honest, I don't have any qualms with them just releasing everything all together.
Yeah.
I think they do need to pitch the 4 tribes individually,
Mm-hmm.
make them equal, not like Dawn of Peril where it was just overworld and underworld and everyone else.
Yeah.
Like make them really show off their why people play them. Mepedians for the Strike, the Infect for Dania,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. And I think in that in itself, people will buy the decks, and then they can just buy Fire and Stone. That's 100 cards. That's going to take a while. You're going to have to buy lots of packs to get it all.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly with ultras. The only thing I don't like about combining Storm and Seas and
Mm-hmm.
Fire and Stone is the fact you're going to have at least like 24 ultras or something. It's going to be a lot to get everything. And there's always going to be one. Like I predict that Malvadine will go skyrocket. It's the first Mepedium at Defender. It's probably going to be the most expensive card in the set.
Mm-hmm.
Most expensive one we know so far.
Yeah. Who knows? Thebstar or whatever the top dragon happens to be could totally beat him.
Thebstar is definitely going to be. We don't know what it is, but it's definitely going to be. Bet your money on it. Take that one to the bank. But so I actually compiled a list of the cards that we know from Fire and Stone. We know about 25 out of 100 so far.
Mm-hmm.
And my predictions, I think, because we know there's a Maxor who's in Elemental Champion. So I think you can take it for granted there'll be a KO because there's never been a Maxor without a KO.
Yep. And KR has another art floating around that's never been used either, too. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So does Sword Fountain Blue, now that I think about it.
Yeah, he does too. And that's what I was just about to say because we know how Blute.
Yeah, you cut out for a minute there, so I don't know what you were saying.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know how the law mentioned, to having like a bit of truce, but Azul's got her own plans and all that. So I kind of think you can expect a new Blute as well. I reckon there'll be a new Alexia just because they're introducing, the nest of the ancestors with, Alexia taking over that and moving out of Mount Pillar and all that.
Yeah, and she actually also does have an art featured in the Ultimate Guide.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it specifically mentions that she and a good chunk of the hive, including I think Wama, all molted into different forms and then moved to the to that other like ancestral place or whatever.
Because Azul decreed that they have to undergo some sort of parasite transformation to distinguish them from the ones from Mount Pillar.
Yeah.
But then they encroach on underworld territory, and then that starts a big war and all that sort of stuff. And I can see that happening in Fire and Stone.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, did you see the card Faster Than the Wind?
I'm sorry, what?
Faster Than the Wind. It was the only card that Dragonix from Fire and Stone. It's an attack.
Nope, I did not see that.
Okay, you would have definitely seen that. I don't know if I...
I missed out on it. I do not get on the Discord very often.
Yeah, so what happens is pretty much I don't think it has... no, it does 5 air. I think it does 5 air. I'm trying to remember it off by heart. Its main ability, anyway, is that it makes all... So you gain 100 speed, and then all your other stats go to 0.
Oh.
So pretty much it's to help you with, your stat checks and all that sort of stuff. But I reckon that was the only one that was... But I see them doing it for each discipline. Oh, God, is that me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and turn the stupid thing off. I see them doing it for it because that was to target speed. They'll gain 100 courage, and then your other disciplines go to 0.
I found it.
I actually kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you see it? Is it on Google?
No, I went on to the Discord and just.
Oh yeah, you should just be able to go bot commands.
Yeah, found it. Gain 100 speed, lose courage, power, and wisdom, so those disciplines equal 0. 5 base.
Does it have base damage?
Yeah.
Oh, it does have base.
5 base, 15 air, and it's a 2-drop.
Oh damn! Yeah, that's actually very good. I forgot it had air.
Dang! Wait, so That's 20 damage with that. If you have any, that's not even like counting any wind buff or anything.
Or strike. And it
And
also
it's only a 2-drop?
guarantees and it
Dang.
guarantees your challenges too,
Yeah.
pretty much. So, and Mepedians already have like 110 speed, so it's pretty insane. But anyway, yeah, I reckon they'll do. So that's another. So we had that one. Then I reckon they'll do one copy for each, just for fun. So that's another 3 cards. And then one sort of theory that I'm very excited about is: have you seen the Tassinel High Elementalist?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I reckon they're going to do a High Elementalist because
yeah,
for each one.
Yeah. And dude, you keep cutting out too. It's like every time that like you're about to finish a sentence, it cuts out on you. It's so weird.
Okay, I've just moved the micro. Hopefully, it's gonna work now. Let me know if it keeps playing up, and then I'll like take it out and start again. But yeah, I reckon they'll do that for high elementalists, just like in alliances where they did.
Yeah.
What was it? The high muges, one for each tribe.
Yeah.
Except for the Marylands. But they sort of did like, Thalmic and
I would love to see them give us a high muge for the Marillions. But then again, that's just me and my love for Marillions speaking.
Yeah, you're cutting out now.
Oh, am I cutting out now? Maybe it's a Discord thing.
Maybe, possibly. But yeah, that's one thing I'm excited about. I think that was about it. Yeah, I already spoke about Naina because I think we're going to get a whole bunch of Royal Fire and Stone. And I think Mudinu's full name, Vassal of the King, we know.
Oh, that is such a cool name. I love it.
So I really like it too because there's a lot of little Easter eggs in the Ultimate Guide, that you can pick up. You can sort of like when they mention the palace, the Royal Mipidum Palace, that's definitely going to come in with the Royals. So I'm thinking Fire and Stone, particularly with Malvadine, just because he's sort of going to like break the mold pretty much. And then I don't know when they're going to introduce past stuff. I hope we get a bit of past stuff with each new set. I think that would be cool. I would really like to see them introduce stuff like with Kensep because they really heavily hinted at Kensep in alliances. There was a whole battle gear and locations and all that.
Yeah.
I would really love to see the past Betty and King.
Yeah. I just hope that the past creatures are not just kept to the structure decks, because that is something that kind of gets annoying with specific cards.
It is, because you really only want to buy a structure deck once. Yeah. You don't want to be buying 400 structure decks because they're very boring. I mean, it's nice that they got a pack in them, but they are boring.
Dude,
it's same cards all the time.
Dude, a large chunk of my bulk collection is freaking Alliances Unraveled structure decks from me doing the Search for Ursus videos.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually...
This is when you and me both wised up and we actually realised it's not in the Alliances packs.
Oh my god.
Because I was searching the bloody booster boxes.
Yeah, I actually got a comment on... So, the first Search for Ursus video I ever did, I bought a box of Alliances Unraveled. Don't ask how much it was, because I don't remember. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. And I still get comments on it sometimes today. I think like a week ago I got one where it was somebody like, hey, you probably already know this by now, but you can't get Ursus out of this main set. And I'm like, well, yes, I understand that now. And they're also like, oh, and you also cannot get KO or Max Sword. I'm like, yes. Don't know why you're on freaking set.
Yeah, it was such a bad... I don't know how that happened, but yeah, very, very misleading. But that's something they need to fix, is to make sure... Just to make it easier, because you really only want to buy the decks once. I think they should just stick to having the past stuff in the set, where you can... That's what you want to buy multiple. You want to go buy lots of packs, you want to buy lots of booster boxes, tins... that's for buying multiples of. The deck is just to get you started, to get the playmat, to get the rulebook,
Yeah.
Get you started.
Yeah, I do like the idea of getting a pack from whatever the current set is in the structure deck. I really liked them doing that. But like, having completely random promos in there just is really annoying. And if they do it, they should do it like with like I think the original Structure X had it where like you would get a random ultra or an ultra or a super out of the recent set. Because I know I've pulled a Chaor out of a Structure Deck once. Yeah, like it was an Overworld Structure Deck too. It was weird. I was like, oh, okay.
DOP is one big mystery. It's got like 6 different versions.
Yeah.
This card's like, there's the Heptad mystery with the tins where it's missing 2 elements. It's just a big mess, DOP.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's something that they definitely need to work on. And have you seen the Music Mondo Rondo?
I remember seeing something about it. Don't think I've actually.
So it's like 3 musicians. It's Petty and Music, so that's why we needed 3. Muge has got at least 3 Music counters, and it makes the target attack count as the first attack of combat.
Oh yeah. I think we talked about that another time, or something like that. But
it's
or somebody.
I really like it. Anything for strike, I'm down for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember talking with somebody about that. I can't remember who now.
I don't think we have the art for it, but we've effect.
Yeah. Yeah, I just checked. We don't have the art, but we do have the effect.
Yeah, and then there's another one which is Stereo Strike,
mm-hmm.
Where we've got the artwork for it, but I don't think we've got the effect. Same with Flame Rift, which is an attack. We've got the artwork, but no sort of details on it.
Yeah.
And then have you seen Caravan, most importantly?
No, I have not. That's
Oh my god, I'm going to find you the... So this is a new War Beast that's coming in.
Ooh! War Beast.
You haven't seen it?
No, I have not seen this.
It's a new...
Do we have a picture?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a gigantic... I'm going to have to find it in my... Gigantic scorpion.
Oh my god, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, gigantic scorpion. And we also get... So we know that. So another card in Fire and Stone. And we also get Caravan's Conjurer on top.
How do you spell it? Caravan?
Actually, you might be able to find it on... Just It's Kera... BAHN. Try that in Discord.
Oh, the Sting Beast. That's the guy. I forgot all about him.
It came up with the artwork?
Yeah, the artwork from like forever ago. He was in one of the ads for Fire and Stone back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, his same with Flame Rift and all that in Stereo Strike.
Yeah.
He looked like... Stevie had it as his profile pic ages ago, and I thought it was just from like Magic or something, because I thought it just looked so friggin' cool, but I could never enlarge the image, so I just thought it was like fan made. He looks so cool, and he's going to have apparently a really powerful Conjurer that complements him as well.
That's good.
So that's another thing I'm looking forward to. It's probably not going to be the only War Beast in Fire and Stone. They usually chuck in a couple.
Yeah, they usually chuck. Yeah, I mean, I think we only had like one in... Because we had... Oh wait, no, yeah, they usually do 2, right? 2, because we had Graphat Ra and Killeron. We had Ninrin and Koror. Oh wait, no, Gintana was released by himself, wasn't he?
Yeah, but Gintana had Ninrin in Alliances.
Oh, okay, so those 2 were released together. And then Koror was released by himself, but we got the past one in the Structure Deck, so...
Yeah, and Gafara was Turn of Tide, and he was by himself too. He didn't have... what was the other one you mentioned?
Killeron. Killeron was in the first Muppet.
He was Marillion Invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. He was awesome when he came out. It was like...
Yeah, I think
they just never disappoint with the... Never disappoint with the the War Beast artwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think that was it for my predictions, at least for. I mean, the other cards we already know. Like you had the Fire and Stone previews,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had those cards that we were talking about. So cards like Azil that we've seen, Tasnil, High Elementalist, which is pretty badass that the Tasnil's going to have all elements.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we haven't had a creature like that since Heptad.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of Heptad, I'd love to see him get a retrain in some way, shape, or form.
He's very possible for Fire and Stone too, because you got Arctis as well, who was Fire and Stone.
Like
he's in his art.
I just don't know how they could do it because without like changing around his elements or something, they'd have to be very careful. I feel like because
they need to just pump him up a bit because his stats obviously and not very good, and then just something that complements him being able to play music from every tribe. You know.
Yeah, because
I think that.
Right now he unless you have the Citadel fragments on him, he's kind of garbage.
Yeah, and even with it, it doesn't really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does boost him up by.
We'll gain 20 to everything.
Yeah.
But I would also like to see a new artwork, just to because it was such. It's amazing how we had so many in the show characters that just weren't ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, never got new cards. You know, it was just Dawn of Perim, and that was it. You know.
Yep.
God, I'd really like to see them if they, when they do the show, like anything they make, if they do a episode around one creature or something, make sure it's actually made. It's so frustrating, particularly with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, we're still waiting on cards. Like we're getting the fossils this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many bloody years we've been waiting to get the fossil.
Like 15.
And Yu-Gi-Oh's not even a shadow of what it used to be, and we're getting it now.
I mean, it's probably for the better that we're getting it now because the cards will actually be better. I'm sure if the fossils came out 15 years ago, they would be absolute garbage. But
but the secrets look better back then than they do now. Like they look so much better. Like they look like they're so much more expensive and so much more work was put into them. They look cheap now. Like they've just mass produced, and they bend backwards. Have you seen that?
I haven't had that issue as much. I know some people have been, but like, it really hasn't been that much of an issue for me personally. But then again, that's just anecdotal evidence. So,
I think that's something they need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it. That's everything I sort of had noted down. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Not really. I can't think of anything else to really talk about. I mean,
you're cutting out again.
I mean, I don't know. There's this. I can't really think of anything to talk about or add in now. I mean, Brian Gannon finally opened up his DMs on Twitter. Don't spam him.
Are you there, man? You've been breaking up.
Oh, am I breaking up still? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back. You're back now. Yeah.
Yeah,
you were saying.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Discord today. But yeah, I was just saying. I noticed on Twitter before we were recording and everything that Brian Gannon finally opened up his DMs on Twitter. Do not spam him. That's all that I have to say.
But it could be a good sign, you never know.
Yeah, but like
it's been private for ever since.
Yeah.
The beginning of time, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So fingers crossed that's a sign of good things to come. I mean, I would really like to think that we'll hear something before mid-year.
Yeah.
I would love to. I kind of already thought we would have heard something by now.
Yeah, I mean, I know Dragonics was saying that they were expecting an announcement by the end of January, and then it got pushed back. And as they say, a delayed game will be good eventually, but a rushed game will never be good. So hopefully, it's a good thing that it's been held back.
Yeah.
delayed.
Well, I think like I said before, they've got one chance to get it right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they're in it for the long haul. They've said that before. They're in it for the next like 20 years. They're not in it for 2 years. They're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
And they want to do it right, which I think is very good because I think it's got so much. I think it'll take over. Like there'll be so many people that'll switch from Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic into Chaotic. Probably people that are waiting for something new to come along, actually, switch to.
Yeah.
And it'll bring back a lot of old fans, people that just haven't even been on Discord or trade cards online. They've had nothing to do with it since it left, like 2011 or what it was. It'll bring all them back. It'll capture them all. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, me neither.
Or I can wait, I should say.
I can't. Fresh out of patience.
Sure. Gotta wait a little bit more, though.
Yeah. Oh, well. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully it's this year.
Yep. Alrighty, well.
Anyway, thanks a lot for inviting me on, man.
It's great.
Hope everyone enjoyed. Hope everyone enjoyed. Hopefully we didn't repeat ourselves too much. You're just gonna splice both of them together, and it's gonna be the exact same conversation.
Knowing my luck, it would be like that, but hopefully not.
Oh well.
So, guys, thank you for watching. Any last words, Kha'rall?
No, I'm all good. All good.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me on.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more of these chaotic podcasts, let me know down below. I don't know who I would have on next, so if anybody wants to message me and be on for a video, go ahead and message me on any of my social media stuff. Thank you. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and see y'all later. Peace out.